there are some things we've learned along the way. Most of all from Lola Annie, and I hope that will.
Happy, come on.
I'm there.
Larry. So, maybe some of you are thinking, wow, I wish I could improve her choice of font because it's very plain. So, whoever wants a copy, I can email you a PowerPoint. And I just want to ask you to please not post it on Facebook or social media because the information is very personal. Just for family use. It's not, for public consumption. It's a mix of questions. There are some facts I wish I could have found in my lifetime, and I'll keep trying. But the information's incomplete. I think you like what Lola Annie left us. Mostly, I went by her stories, and at this point, I realize there are unanswered questions, but the best thing is I can remember Lola Annie's voice, and I can say, wow, my mom took time to chat, to talk with me and tell me things about her lolo. So if anything, I hope it encourages us to share with each other and our stories. They're our treasure, right? So.
And the young ones.
Yeah, pass it on, guys. And if you feel an urge to search, also there are some clues that we got. So here goes. Yeah, I just want to say though that it's a lot of middle names, mother's maiden names, the type of stuff you would use for your password. So it's better really not to put it on social media because we'll be doing lots of passwords and security questions. So here goes, security questions and stuff like that. So definitely you can say that Lola Annie, who was your Lola, and the great-grandmother of Sonia and Lauren and John and Baxter was her roots were Basque, and the other side of her roots were Spanish from the south of Spain in Badajoz, and you'll see this. But mostly I showed what Lola Annie's Basque roots were, and maybe I better get started.
I think so.
Okay, Lola Annie's Basque roots. Yeah, the rest will be stuck on this stage forever.
You have to point it out.
Okay, so guess who Manuel Luzarraga was? Was he the guy on the left or the guy on the right?
Quiz pala ito.
I know.
Who thinks
It's a
he's the guy on
50-50
the
chance.
left?
It's a 50-50 chance.
Left 50-50, you got it.
Left.
Left. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Jay. You are correct. It's a father and son shot, so this was Manuel Luzarraga. The spelling has not changed to this day from the original Basque spelling, so it's very important that we were able to retain the name because Lolo Pilo's side, the Mendozas, are very, very apparently Chinese, but the Spanish colonizers changed the names of the people on Lolo Pilo's side. So we're Mendozas, but we may have a Chinese surname somewhere from our ancestors that Tita Lynn might explain to you, because she has a book about Lolo Pilo's family tree, but we can't trace the Chinese the original Chinese name on Lolo's side. But because of this Luzarraga that was handed down to us on Lola Annie's side, we were able to find our European root, our Spanish roots, our Basque roots more quickly, funnily enough, in another continent. So yes, this is Manuel Luzarraga. He was Lola Annie's paternal grandfather, and can anyone guess what this guy's name is?
John Baxter.
Felix.
Felix Luzarraga. his
Our
son.
grandfather.
Yes, that's our grandfather and your
Great-grandfather.
great-grandfather. And Lola Annie used to think this was a composite, but from the looks of it, I think this was an actual side-by-side pose. And at this point, if any of you are fond of forensics or tracing history and dating a picture through outfits, you can see there's something like satin piping on the lapels, and Lolo Felix's, your bisabuelo Felix's collar is a standing collar. So if anybody wants to take that on and try and find when this picture was taken, it will give us a clue about the age of Manuel Luzarraga when this was taken. Because we know that Lolo Felix was born in 1882. So we just don't know when this was taken, and that's important. I'll tell you more about the inset later. So what do we know? These phrases in quotes are directly from your Lola Annie. So she told us, these are her words, that Manuel Luzarraga spoke of himself as a proud Vizcaino. So he was born in Vizcaya, or in Spanish, Vizcaya. This is the Basque spelling in Basque country. And definitely, so I put that in quotes again. Please pass it on. He loved to look out into the sea. And a little later on, I'll show you a picture of Vizcaya, and maybe Camille's been there.
I have a picture and a video. I'll find it and or I can share it.
Yeah, because it's wonderful to see. What did this guy see when he looked out into the distance?
He saw the Philippines.
Maybe he did. He went to school. Actually, he was very willing to come to the Philippines. He was very willing to sail overseas. So he went to school to become a Capitan del Barco, not in the Navy, but in the merchant marine industry. So he was a Marina Mercante. He was in the Marina Mercante, not in the Navy. Capitan del Barco. And he went to the Philippines as a Capitan del Barco, and he worked in the shipyards of Subic, Zambales. This part of the information is from your Tito Raul Luzarraga, the son of Lola Annie's eldest brother, Tio Bing. But definitely he willingly went to the Philippines. That was something, he was adventurous, and the Basque people we've met have told us that it's known that the Basques are really adventurous, and many of them went into the merchant marines. So it's a common thing.
Seafaring people.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
settled around the Bay of Biscay.
Yeah.
It's the section between France and Spain
You bet.
on the west
Yeah.
coast of Spain.
And then thanks, Mon, and I'll show you a map, and maybe you can help me later on with a map. But when he came to the Philippines, Manuel married a Filipina. Please notice how her spelling is, her name is spelled. Alejandra. She was from Bulacan. I haven't run into any cruises who told me that they're connected, but who knows, maybe in your generation there'll be more information that's accessible to you. But she was from Bulacan, and she ran a restaurant in Subic, so she must have cooked good food.
That's why we eat a lot.
So what else? What we wish we knew is the date of his birth. So I wish I could, if you have any ideas about how to date a person's photograph, and there are other clues, and I'll tell you those later. We don't know his mother's maiden name. He came to the Philippines. Everything Lola Annie passed on to us was just his first name and his last name. But I'll show you later on why that's tough. And we don't know his exact birthplace, but we do know it's got to be a town or a city in Vizcaya. in that region, but we're not sure which, because there are Luzargas in Vizcaya, in many towns and cities.
All over the world.
And we don't know his date of death, and we don't know where he was buried. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna. I'll backtrack about his date of death. We know that when the Philippine Revolution broke out against Spain in 1896, it must have been tough for Bisabuelo Manuel, for your tatarabuelo Manuel, because he was a Spanish national. You know, you'll probably read more than I have about the Philippine Revolution, but just when the Filipinos thought they were winning against Spain, continue. Just when the Filipinos thought we were winning our independence from Spain in
America came
America.
And beat us up.
Yeah, that's for
and
sure.
took control. It was in
It's much
1898,
more complicated.
same time as Puerto Rico. So America was able to, Spain ceded the Philippines of Puerto Rico to America, even if they weren't really in control anymore.
We were the
Yes.
prize as a result of the Spanish losing to the Americans.
Right.
Yeah,
So
actually
that,
we won already, and then
Thanks.
by that time, the Americans came. They used to Aguinaldo, but there's a long history to it, diba? It was Bonifacio who led the revolution, diba? But eventually they used Aguinaldo, and Aguinaldo had Bonifacio assassinated.
and they say that
Yeah, and the other guy, Del Pilar. No, what's that other movie they made? Recently, Goyo.
Gregorio del
Did
Pilar.
Pilar ka?
The one before that.
Luna.
Luna.
General Luna.
Yeah.
So-
They had him assassinated also by the Caviteños were the ones.
And I heard that Lolo Felix had a diary, so our Lolo Felix siblings, he had a diary where he mentioned that. And that diary went to Tio Hobing's, the eldest son's family, and Raul said, it's gone, I think, it's gone. But Lolo Felix wrote about that
The
betrayal
revolution.
of Bonifacio by Aguinaldo. And all while, around that time that happened, Lola Annie said that Manuel was captured by the Americans, by the forces of General Dewey, the American admiral.
Really?
Yes, and he was imprisoned in Fort Santiago in Intramuros, the old walled city. And the story about his death is that he didn't die in prison. Actually, his son, Felix, retrieved him from prison and brought him home, but he was in very bad shape physically and mentally and emotionally because he had been starved in the prisons of Fort Santiago. So he didn't live very long after that, and then he passed away. And when Lola Annie tried to find out where he was buried, her mother just said that, Lola Ibian said, that's how, she said, if burials were really messy because it was wartime, it was the Philippine-American Revolution. The Philippine Revolution against Spain, and then the Filipino-American War. So burials are messy, and I guess that's why I'm not such a fan of war. Another reason for not, so I've asked the archives in the Philippines if maybe they have a record of prisoners who were taken by General Dewey's forces to Fort Santiago, and so far they haven't said there's anything yet. But could there be a record of people who were arrested by the forces of General Dewey? Maybe, because what we've been told is that there are tons of documents in the National Archives of the Philippines, but they are still many of them are still unclassified. But maybe in your time, who knows? Because currently they're being digitalized, and maybe, you might be able to Google that one day if you like. No pressure. What we wish we knew. So a little more about Felix Luzarraga, our grandfather, Lola Annie's papa, and your great-grandfather. Yeah, they're Lola Annie's father. He was born, his birthday's exact. And Lola Annie, wow, bless her for having memorized all of her siblings' birthdays and birth years. So that's for sure. So if you think about the picture, the side-by-side portrait, if we know his birthday, and my estimate is, what if that picture was taken before the revolution in 1896? So Lolo Felix would have been a 14-year-old boy, but how old was the dad beside him? That's what we wish we knew. And he was born in Subic, Zambales. He died in 1927 when Lola was a 7-year-old girl. But it's amazing. My tribute, credit to Lola also for remembering so much about her young life. She lost her father at 7, but she had a lot of
I
memories.
think she was there when her
Yeah.
dad died.
When he stroked.
Because she had a heart attack while they were eating. She knows a lot of the details about that meal. And he was having a cigar at that time, or his wine,
Eating rice.
or brandy, or whatever he had after dinner. And then he collapsed. He had a guest.
Yeah.
That's why they prepared, a formal kind of meal with the work. Lola Annie used to say that he loved to eat. He loved to eat, full meals. You had
That
pork,
explains a lot. That explains everything.
beef, fish, everything, the works. Had to be available.
Young dad. Who'd like to? Yeah.
But actually, he was born in the Philippines, as you can see here.
For those of you who have this, yeah, this is him. This is Fortunata Villagomez, who was the mother of there's Lola Ibiang. So that's Lola Ibiang, that's Lolo Felix. And then this is Lola Ibiang's mom, Fortunata Villagomez. And then the men. This is Lolo Felix and his wife Lola Ibiang. This is Lola Ibiang's brother, Victor. So Lolo Titong, Victor Soriano. And then Lola Ibiang's youngest brother, Antonio, Lolo Tonio. And then that's his wife, Lola Ika. No, Lola, what's her name? Eliang, thank you, Mon. Thanks, Mon. And then the children here, this is Tia Esther, Arthur and Maria's Lola, Chutemi's mom. And then that baby there, wait, sorry, this is Ati, the eldest. I'll give you a list of the siblings. Esther, yeah. And then that's Tio Hobing, next to Hob. And then this has got to be Chutoni. And Joe, Mom said she might be the baby, right? Mom thought she was this little baby.
There's a gap actually between Chutoni and Mama because there are 2 other children.
True. And yeah, and that, yes. Yeah, if we like. So, yes, and the next slide will show that. So just for now, Felix had one sister, Maura Luzaraga, who married an Ibanez, and their son was Leopoldo Ibanez, who's still alive. Like right then?
No, I think he passed away already.
Okay, but there's an Ibanez line, right? Charles?
There is an Ibanez line, yes.
And they're
With that song.
yeah.
In Subic.
In also Manila.
San Juan. So you've got some distant relatives
Cousins.
through the Maura line, and then they had there was talk about a first cousin. Mama liked to talk about Chakayang, her Tia Kayang. That's important because she married the Posadas, and maybe they have more stories.
Well, Chakayang was also raised by them.
Yeah, they
Like
loved her
Adopted.
like a sister, but yeah.
Makari, like a sister.
Maybe Macaria. Yeah, I think
Macaria.
Macaria. Yeah. And there's Maura. Okay, and then, so that's Lola Felix's family. And then on the next slide, you'll see, about Lola, about Lola Ibiang. She was Eusebia Soriano Luzaraga. Some people say she had a second name, Modesta, according to Becky Susana Martinez. And that's her birthday. And she and Lola Felix met. There you go. Will you read that for us, please? Huh? Yeah, she was going home. She was at Colegiala. They say she studied in a college, Colegio de Santa Isabel, and she was going home on a boat. And I guess Lola Felix, he actually went to school to be a merchant marine also, and he was a segundo oficial, so not a capitan del barco, but he went to an escuela nautica in somewhere in Manila, maybe in Inter.
So the original love boat.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how they met. But at this point, yeah. So you saw a picture of Lola. So you saw a picture of Lola Felix when he was a young kid, like maybe 14. Okay, that was 1996, and then this is him. This is him at a certain age, because there's Ati, and he's not. So here's Lola Felix again, your great-grandmother, who's half Filipino, half Basque. And that's Esther, or we call her Ati because she's an ate, the eldest sister. And there's Tio Hobing, Hob, and then, yeah, I think he was getting a little thicker. Maybe there's the good food was starting to show. Yeah. So Hob was, this is from Lola Annie. Antonio, Lola Annie, born August 7, 1920. Juan J. You remember when you met your Lola Juanin? He said, I am Juan, and you are Juan. And you were little. Then you said, I'll be 9, you know. I'll be 9.
Like basketball 101.
Something like that. Then Fortunata was Tia Nena Stella's mom. And then Justo, because you notice there's a gap, like Tito Mon mentioned, between 1911 and 1917. You see any other gaps there?
I see a missing name. 2 missing names.
Yeah,
Esther.
Esther
Holy
is the eldest
Toledo.
child, older than
On
Hope.
top.
Scroll up.
And
Scroll up.
Anybody else?
there was another brother named Artemio.
There was. Wow, I'll correct this.
Yeah, she had 9 children.
Wow, she had 9 deliveries.
Lola Antonio had the same birthday.
Scroll. Thank you, Joe. So there was an Artemio.
Yeah, that's true.
There's
November 17th. So
There was an Artemio nga.
Carlos'
Anything
birthday.
wow. Carlos.
It's Corona.
Yeah. And then Justo and Manuel. Because we don't know, and then I think of those days where pregnancies were so fragile, and then wasn't there some kind of flu epidemic around us? Yeah, we don't know.
But I don't actually want to tell that story about. We'll just go into that some other time.
Fake news.
There's so much unverified. Yeah. Ati and Tio being sorry. Well, if Ati was born in 1907 and Lola Felix was born in 1882, how old was Lola Felix in this picture?
Another quiz.
Quick.
How old was Ati then?
She was born in 1907 and Lola Felix was born in 1882.
15.
25.
Yes, I'm here.
Wow. There was a
25. Okay.
Looks older than 25 too.
Yeah.
In this.
Been through a
But
lot.
Lola would be in her 20s.
wow.
To me, Felix looks old. Anyway.
Okay. What were you like at that age? We're all older
No.
than that. No. Okay. That's one of. Okay. Then we'll go on, and then stories from Mama. Manuel Luzarrica was a proud Vizcaino, so this is supposed to move, but I got this map and then I was supposed to be able to press that. But this is the northern coast of Spain, and I can't move it. But look for the Bay of Biscaya, the Bay of Biscay, and then you're going to look for a small part there. That's the region of Biscaya, but that's all Basque Country. That shaded area is Basque Country, but Biscaya is this part. And then, ooh, Manuel Luzarrica loved to look out into the sea. I wasn't able to expand it, but I'll show you another map later. And this is that, see that water that you were looking at in the map? This is a walkway in Mundaka, one which Camille visited. And wow, that Bay of Biscay is so, you can imagine that's what Lolo Manuel or Bisabuelo Manuel looked at. Because the Bay of Biscay is very big. It extends from around the area of Mundaka all the way to Borneo and all those other towns. There are many towns near around that coastline. And then there's a little church there on Santa Catalina. There's the Icurina, the flag of the Basque people. And if Manuel Luzarrica looked out into the sea, he would have seen this island called Isaro. So,
Which is,
it's an island.
it's not the Game of Thrones island.
No, not yet, but I'll show you. Any Game of Thrones fans out there?
Spoilers.
In the audience? Just kidding, family. The Game of Thrones Dragon Rock is also in Vizcaya, and it's a short bus ride away from this.
That means we're Targaryens.
You can take a little bus ride. And,
The next installment of the lecture. Targaryen heritage.
Black hair
one of the towns that you want to remember is
A whole
Mundaka.
nother book.
Just part one.
This is the story there. Wow, and I think of Shawnee when I see this, when I learn that name. But this church in Mundaka is called the Asuncion. And then if you go inside, you'll see a baptismal font. And who knows if our line began from a little baby who was baptized at that font, named Manuel. And then that's it. Like the church is. If you walk, there's a lovely coastal route. And at one point, if you want to go on to the next town from Mundaka, Bermeo, you'll come to a crossroads and you might want to go to Guernica. Go for it. Say more, Camille.
La Guernica is this famous painting that portrayed the Cuban Missile Crisis. So that's what he means. Because Guernica was a place of rebellion, right?
Yeah, so like it's a mural that depicts sort of the chaos of when the bomb was dropped.
Yes.
And sort of like that flashing moment of light and dark.
Yes. It was a Picasso.
People were going to the market that day, and who sent games?
The Germans, Franco asked Hitler
Yeah.
to bomb.
Yeah.
No, but the important thing is Guernica has that tree, which the Basques feel is roots of their culture. So, in order to destroy their spirit, Franco and the fascists wanted to destroy the tree. So they did destroy Guernica, but the trees remained standing.
Interesting. So it's not far away from Mundaka and Bermeo. You can take a local train between Mundaka and visit Guernica. That museum, there's a museum there called the Museum for Peace, and it's meaningful for everybody who wants peace in the world. But if you keep following the coastal route, you'll get to Bermeo. It's important to remember this because it's also possible that Manuel Luzarrica was born in Bermeo. So there's the coastal route. So Mundaka is behind you, or the walker, and then Bermeo is straight ahead, but it's also the Bay of Biscay.
Did you walk that, Sam?
Yeah, I think about
Those are our
45
pictures.
minutes, my slow walk. Yeah, and a slow walk, no rushing. It's Ruta Costal, and I heard that it's part of the alternative route of the Camino de Compostela. If you take the northern route, the Camino del Norte, it's so it's quite a historic place. And here's the church in Bermeo, the Santa Eufemia. There's another church up the hill. I didn't get a chance to go to that other church, but this one's the one closest to the water. And there's the baptismal font inside. So who knows if we're connected to a moment in that corner of the church. I guess the church records are what have been recommended as a good source for finding finding possibly the birth date or the birth year. It's just so here's an example of what happens when you look at the ecclesiastical archives of Vizcaya. So the ecclesiastical archives are they're called AHEB. Yeah. And then if you enter the name of Manuel Luzarraga, I got 6. So there are 6 files. And who knows? I was told that when babies were born, sometimes it took years for the parents to bring them down from the mountains to get them baptized if they were shepherds or something. But baptismal dates are just probably right now the closest, the most helpful at finding an approximate birth date of the babies born at the time. But check this out: 6 records of Luzarraga Manuel, and this guy's Luzarraga Miguel Manuel, and then Luzarraga Meaurio, that's his mother's name, and then his first name was Manuel, and then there was another Luzarraga, Manuel Maria, and it's funny because like Miguel Manuel Maria is identified as a mujer, as a woman, but so there can be errors even in the best archives already. So it's interesting. Doesn't have to be so. It can be frustrating, but it can also be interesting to see how records were collected. But the window of time that we were advised to look at was probably 1840 all the way up to 1865, because if Felix was born in 1882, his dad would have had to be old. His dad had to be a certain age to be a father. So that's the window, but we come up with 6 records, so we don't know for sure. Looking for a Basque great-great-grandfather. Note if it was also hard because sometimes Luzarraga was spelled like that. Luzarraga, sometimes with 1 R, often with just S, but in a record, a list written during the American Times, that came out, Luzarraga.
I have a theory because the Basques, 2 R's can be, there's a font that's just 1 R to signify 2 R's. So that might not be a W. There is like a special R, a Basque R.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. And if you want to have fun one day, just Google Manuel Luzarraga Filipinas, something like that, or Capitan del Barco, then you'll see how there were other Manuel Luzarragas who were ship's captains in the merchant marines also. Wow. Estimated age of Manuel Luzarraga from the portrait. I saw that there's an app that can help you do that, but it's not secure, they said, or something. There's problems with it, but maybe you guys can advise me on what's possible. to get the age of a person from a picture. And then there's Lola Annie had some stories about how they lived in Intramuros. So they didn't just live in Subic, Zambales. They may have lived in Manila because Lolo Felix attended the Ateneo and the Escuela Nautica. And the source of the, Tito Raul was our source for saying that Lolo Manuel, his Abuelo Manuel wasn't just a ship's captain, he also became an inspector in the Subic shipyard. And then maybe there'll be info from the Ibanez family more than we have. And then, here's good ones. The National Archives sent me some records of a Capitan Luzarga. I was so excited, but it turned out his first name was Cornelio. But you could see the names of the people of the captain on a handwritten sheet from the customs office in Intramuros, customs house. And so they're good. The National Archives, they're improving their information. There's information stores, and I guess and then the best is the stories from Lola Annie, the most precious source of them all. That's all. Thank you for
So
your
to be
patience.
continued.
Yeah, the
Yes.
story, dot.
Like two naman.
The one thing, because of all of Cynthia's work, was we've met a couple of people from the area. And it's actually very touching because we met an academician 2 years ago, was it, or 3 years ago, who walked us around again and gave us a history of Mundaka. Then he introduced us as our daughters to other people in the town. These are our daughters. So yeah, it's nice. They felt that they adopted. Same thing happened also in Badajoz, which is where the Sorianos came from.
Because I really admire Sin for pursuing so much of this.
Just fun.
She's very passionate about it. But when the three of us went to Spain some time ago, we met somebody who she had become acquainted with, and we met with. It was a Luzarraga. Very engaging guy. But,
Nice guy.
he brought up a possible twist to the whole story, that at least the way it struck me was, and it's this because I asked him, are there still a lot of Luzarragas around? And he said, for those with the first surname Luzarraga, not too many. For those with the second surname, there's still quite a lot, and they're mostly women. The twist is the Spanish naming convention is that, right? So if I was in Spain, my name would be Jose Mendoza Luzarraga. Apparently, when the Spanish came to the Philippines, they reversed the convention to the one that we know now. So there is this possibility, and Sid and I have talked about this a few times, that maybe Manuel Luzarraga was actually Manuel something Luzarraga. That his first surname might not have been Luzarraga, it might have been his second one. But when it was adopted in the Philippines, that was the convention used. So that's another twist for anyone who wants to kind of pursue it. You might also look that.
Yeah, and also just to know that he was known as a good man. He was remembered in Subic as mabuting tao, and they said he was religious, and he was respected, which is true. But that's a treasure to know that you had a great-great-grandfather who was tried to be a good person. That's a good
And good looking. Right? No.
It shows.
It's all in the genes.
Didn't he have the hair of his mother? So when he was leaving,
That's
What's
the
that?
other one.
That's the other one. That's the Soriano.
that's the other one.
Antonio Soriano, because he didn't want to go to the Philippines. Lola's other lolo was drafted into the Spanish military service. Apparently there was a lottery and his name came up, and then he didn't want to go, so there was a struggle, and
He was
he
just a
ended
young
up with
boy
some, yeah, he was very young, the Lolo Antonio
who
Soriano.
wouldn't let go of his mother, but the story goes,
Yeah.
and they dragged him
Struggle.
away, and he ended up with a locket of her hair,
Yeah.
which he kept.
Yeah.
And our Lola apparently used to write back to her
Her mother.
mother in Spain, but he never went back home.
No, because he settled in Labo, and then when the Spanish Filipino Revolution against Spain broke out, Spain sent ships to pick up the Spanish nationals. They were called Vapor Cervantes, and Lolo Antonio of Mama said he didn't want to go. He refused to go back to Spain, and the Filipinos helped him hide. From anyone who would have hurt a Spanish national. I guess he liked Labo. But wonder what he liked about Labo. It's so beautiful.
There's even one story that we're not sure if it's true or legend, but there was one story that the Filipinos, they were hiding him from,
Yeah.
and they painted his face to make him look darker,
Yeah.
so that because
He could
he was
pass.
obviously a foreigner.
This from Castilla,
Yes.
obviously.
So yeah.
But this about this anecdote that Lola Felix, Lolo Manuel actually sided with the Filipinos in the Civil War. Does this have you heard this story?
No. But
No,
they hide.
But
they
we know
hid
that
him.
Lolo Felix fought under.
Lolo Felix? Sorry.
Lolo Felix
Del Pilar.
fought
A young
under Del
general.
Pilar or Lula?
Ah,
Are
Felix.
you? Yes, Lolo Felix. Yeah.
He fought the Americans. Del Pilar.
He fought.
Lolo Felix, Mama's papa. Lolo. The
Yeah.
half Filipino, half
He was
Spanish.
with Del Pilar in Tirad Pass.
They
I don't
said
know if it did
Probably.
pass.
they said he served under a young general, and he wore a
I see.
striped uniform.
Yeah.
And
He was injured, right?
he was hurting the knee, and the
Like
Americans captured him, and they.
Kapulakan si Del Pilar.
Oh, wow. Because he got hurt in the knee, and the Americans captured him, and they ginamot siya.
Yeah.
They
They treated
ginamot
him
siya.
like a...
They treated his wound,
Gamotin.
and then they said, ano, lalaban ka ba? And then he said, hindi na po.
I think one thing I want to add, especially for the sake of those the younger generation, because insofar as the generation before us of Lusaragas communicated or transferred to us, and as far as we know, like Titin was saying, as far as we know, from that particular family, they were the only Lusaragas in the Philippines. So there are other families that are Lizariaga, Lizaraga, Luzuriaga, but as far as it was transferred to us, our family was the only one. Now, and because you're all grown up, you might as well know that.
And life.
Within our family, however, Felix Luzaraga, our grandfather, had a second family. So you might encounter other Luzaragas from the Philippines, some are actually here in the States.
Yeah.
They will be your relatives, as far as we know. And the Luzaraga from the Philippines, that's the only family.
He was a player.
And it has to be pronounced Lusaraga. Tito Raul even puts an accent on his name.
Although Asel,
Lusaraga.
the guy in the Basque country told us that Lutharaga is the Spanish pronunciation. The Basques would have said Luzaraga.
Which means old
Mount.
mountain.
In the Basque language,
Ano
it's
sa
Luzaraga.
No, it means
soil,
old,
Spanish.
old land.
He said, Lutaraga. Anyway, sorry for
It's not. Thank you for your.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Joey.
because they are around. They are, even in Vancouver, apparently, there's a, what's the name of the one from Naga?
You're all from Naga.
Lydia.
What's the last name?
Dio Caresa.
Deo Caresa.
You know, in like.
His, the mother was Lydia Luzaraga,
Yeah.
who was the half sister of Lola.
And she looked very much like your Lola. Sabi nila, because apparently our Lola met her one time. She came to Lapo and wanted to, be relatives. And apparently they couldn't deny that she was Lola's daughter because she looked like your Lola.
So if you meet them, they're most likely your relatives and close. So don't marry one. Carlo.
As a matter of fact, don't marry anyone from Bicol.
You never know.
Went to Subic and found
That's far.
Okay, I have a story because before Vic died, in the last few months, I asked him, can we go to Subic and look for our Luzaraga roots there? And he said, yes na yes. That was it always. So we went. He took us, and then we had a hard time finding Luzaraga, but we did find the Posadas, the descendants of Posadas, who were probably by that time maybe our third cousin or yeah. So there are some there, yes.
Yeah. I've met, some of us met Ibanez also, Betty.
Betty.
And then the story of Chutemi was, there was also Ibanez cousins in Seattle.
Working for Boeing, is that Joe? Working for Boeing?
At that time, yeah. He's probably passed
Yeah,
away
I'm
by
not sure
now.
they're done now. Yeah, okay, I just want to share with you this little book, an album that Chudodong put together. When he's Chudodong, the brother of our
Mendoza
father,
side.
yeah, Mendoza side. His father was a mayor of Marikina, and there was a year, and Tito Mon was there when they honored all the mayors. So I want to pass this so you can see the picture of your great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Dr. Eugenio Mendoza.
He was a dentist.
A dentist.
DDS.
Phil, don't worry, he was good looking too.
Oh, yes.
Dentista siya, but he was a politician. Naging mayor
Well,
siya
put it
naman.
there in the middle, so
No,
that
we
people
just
can
passed
If
see.
you go to the
Pass it.
Marikina
Look
City
at
Hall,
it, pass
may
it.
portrait.
Okay,
You send them?
pass, pass.
I totally see you guys. It's like looking into a
Korean drama.
No, it's really, I think, important.
Ganyan din ako. Ganyan din ako.
Dad,
You can
he looks
see.
like you.
Yeah.
Pero pag nanonood siya ng Korean movie,
Lolo Henyo?
What it took for you
I know, or like
to be,
Okay, good night.
all of these people had to go through.
I went to Harvard to take it.
Take a picture this one, wait, so then send it.
That's what he would have looked like if he got older.
You already did that.
It's
We
nice.
should make the corrections.
There are our family.
But Papa,
Discussion by a lot more like
Inaccuracies. Late breaking.
Did you want to see pictures of us?
What's his name?
This is what he would look like if he was older.
Where is that?
there's also this book.
John Henry.
I have a video.
I also have this book that was given to me by
The father of Lolipino.
More like
Guwapo naman.
Guwapo na naman.
Guwapo naman.